12, which is ecstatic love of Radha Krishna in Vrindavan. And we will hear about the hierarchy of different holy places in the last 3 verses, about the highest taste possible in Krishna consciousness. So we touched on verse 7 yesterday, which speaks already about the nectar of the holy name. So the nectar, again, interestingly enough, is discussed only after relationships are discussed in 3 verses, from just general 6 exchanges, then respect to Kanishta Madhyam and Uttam, which simply means the neophyte, the middle, medium, intermediate devotee, and the topmost devotee or practitioner. And then about the vision, which is directed at the spiritual essence. Okay, so then the nectar of the holy name is discussed. And we touched upon the definition of pure bhakti, which is a very deep and large topic. So Srila Prabhupada speaks about Shraddha in discussing pure devotees. He says that we should see pure devotees spiritually, but also throughout, also in the nectar of the holy name, also Shraddha is discussed. What is Shraddha? So we will speak about this Shraddha, which makes bhakti pure. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaigunya kita kalita paisunya vranapidita dainyarnaveni magnoham chaitanya vaidyamasraye. I am bitten by the microbes of my bad qualities. And my whole body is itching because of itching with criticism. Therefore, I immerse myself in the ocean of humility and take shelter of Dr. Chaitanya. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. In discussing the holy name, which is the main practice for this age, we mentioned several important points that make your chanting successful. So what, again, attitudes help you achieve success and advance in chanting? What do you remember from yesterday's discussion? Pardon? So which attitudes help us attain success in chanting the holy name? What it says that if you chant like this, then Mark, do you remember from yesterday? Carefully. Yes, carefully. What's the synonym for carefully? Attentively. Yes, attentively. Yes. Okay. Also respectfully. Yes, with respect. Okay, thank you. And another rather simple. Every day. Yes, anudinam. Every day, systematically, every day. Of course, we can, with knowledge, mention also with knowledge, with faith, in sambandha gyan, so the illusion is removed. Okay, so because it's the Bhagavatam time, the Bhagavatam class, so we can chant. What shall we chant? We can chant the verse about the 4 practices of Madhyam Bhakta. So this is 11.2.46. Yes, 11.2.46, and I will make also course, I am sure that most of you know by heart, right? So it's quoted in everywhere, either directly or indirectly. So it's also in Madhya 22:73. And here it's quoted in verse 5 in the very beginning, where we have the description of who do we respect how. So let me also make it. (11 to 46). 46. So, if you don't remember the Sanskrit, Ishvare tadhineshu, Ishvare tadhineshu, balisheshu dvishatsucha, balisheshu dvishatsucha, prema maitri kripopeksha, prema maitri kripopeksha, ya karoti samadhyama, ya karoti samadhyama. Okay, so madhyama means medium. Srila Prabhupada says we should become at least an intermediately advanced practitioner. And this is the definition from the Bhagavatam. Who is the Madhyama, right? It says Yah Karoti. If you do like this, you are Yah Karoti. One who does like this is a Madhyama. So again, it's very interesting. It doesn't describe something passive. It says you Karoti, you actually do this. So that means it's a practice. And these are the four practices. Four practices that make you a Madhyama. So the four practices are that you practice what? Which things? We have four things you practice, which are connected to also clear, clean discrimination in your intelligence. You can see who is who, so you can see the four categories. Which four categories do you discriminate? Which four categories can you see? The demons, envious demons, yes. And the envious demons, we do what? Yeah, so upeksha. Upeksha is a nice word. It's also present, I think, in all the Indian languages. In Hindi, definitely. I don't know about Tamil, Malayalam. You have upeksha in Hindi. In upeksha. Upeksha you have, right? It's a very famous Sanskrit word. Upeksha, like iksha means looking, and upa is like, like literally means under. So you just don't look there, right? Because the tendency will be to hate and then become more and more angry. But this meditation on horrible things is not helpful. So we just avoid or ignore or keep indifference. Basically, the best translation will be indifference. I don't know, gleichgültigkeit or I don't know, something like You have to define. You have to how to say, find, discriminate, realize. Okay, these are envious demons, and then you don't hate them. Again, it doesn't mean that you become that you don't see or that you act foolishly. Prabhupada says that an advanced devotee or sadhu will not have bad feelings toward a tiger. He will see a tiger also as Krishna's temple, but it doesn't mean that he will go and embrace the tiger. No need to embrace tigers. Unless it's your home pet, even then be careful. Okay, so upeksha. What else? Bjorn? Who? Innocent, yeah, innocent also, Prabhupada here translates this ignorant. In Sanskrit here it says Bali Sheshu, which are like children, meaning that they don't know so much. They are not really envious, and the majority of the world population is, in fact, not really demons, but rather under the influence of sometimes demoniac propaganda. Right? Most people are just like nowadays. You have TV, with which you can easily brainwash the whole country into almost everything, and even more dangerous is YouTube. Once you click on some video, and then it will keep pushing that video to you again and again. And I mean, this can easily create so many strange ideas in you. So these videos are so powerful because they have music, picture, which put emotion into you without you realizing. It bypasses your intelligence. It shows anything it wants to show, and the emotion is already there. The text can be whatever it is, and the music will be added, so it will show some picture, and then and then you don't realize, but it's already what's happening. Some horrible picture, and then your emotions are exploded, opened up, and then something else. So in other words, it creates emotions. Very few people can analyze what's happening, keep some sober, critical, in a good sense. I mean, critical means like analytical attitude. So many people just are under the influence of the demoniac mentality. So you see so much propaganda is their whole farms of propagandists hired by actually countries that are not so even rich. So one of the best practices now, I heard that in Finland they teach children in school how to be analytical when you read something, how to do the fact checking and realize is this what's actually happening, or is it some emotional operation to create some emotion in you. Okay, so most people are actually innocent, so therefore we show kripa, we show mercy, right? So innocent or ignorant. So in other words, next time you see somebody making a mistake, doing something wrong, then that means if you see somebody doing something wrong, then you are supposed to do what? Well, it means if they are wrong.
Call the police.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if it's a crime, but if it's just some mistake, show compassion. Yes. Yeah. So if you see somebody doing wrong, show compassion. Merciful. Okay. Then two more categories. Ishvara to Adineshu. So two more categories we have to find. So to the demons or to the envious we show indifference, to innocent or ignorant we show compassion, and devotees we make friends, maitri. Yeah. So in English, it's active, make friends. In Germany, I think you can say Freundschaft schließen. It's also active, right? That you do something. That's the famous joke, that to have friends, if you want friends, you need to get more of a certain vitamin. Yes, so to have friends, you need vitamin B1, yes. Yeah, B1. You want to have friends? B1. Be a friend yourself. It's I don't know if you can translate. I mean, this is the English, play on words. That refers to everything. Okay, so that's a sacrifice. That's not easy, and that requires maturity. So be friends in Krishna consciousness. Be friends in Krishna consciousness, right? But this is sort of the key. We have read that life of devotion is nourished by the loving exchanges with the other devotees. And if you can have some friends who are friends whom you can accept and tolerate, and who can tolerate you, even knowing some of your worst secrets, and they still don't run away, and you don't run away from them. Okay, so then I remember I was in so this friendship in Krishna consciousness is very important. You can see this is the difference. This is one of the differences between a Kanishta and a Madhyam. You know that he has friends. He makes friends with the devotees. I remember I was in the BBT, and in our BBT in Sochi, we had Bhakti Sastri going on, and so devotees came from different places. So Bhakti Swarup Chaitanya Maharaj came, and so he somehow became friendly with me, and so he said, let's read the 10th canto. I want to read the 10th canto. Let's read the 10th canto together. What do you think? And I thought, my God, I have to translate my books into Ukrainian, Prabhupada's books into Ukrainian. What was I working? It was still Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think. I had my editor at Meshwar inspired me to chant. I forgot what, I think something like 50 rounds I was chanting, or 40 something more rounds. I was going to the forest nearby and chanting more. And Bhakti Shastri I have to study and pass. And now also this, you know, when will I have time to do all of this? So I said, yeah, let's do it, you know, later, tomorrow. So then after a couple of days I said, so when we will read? I said, we will read someday, sometime we will read. So like 2-3 days I was feeding him tomorrow. And then one evening I hear on my door knocking. I open, he's coming with the book and says, we will read today. And then he said, and he read something, and I said, oh, this is nice, I like it, and this I don't understand. I think it's like this. And then he said, okay, now you read. So I read, and I said, oh, this is nice, this is also nice, this I don't like, or something. And we started reading and discussing, and it was sweet, actually, discussing Krishna Lila. And I remember after that, somehow after a couple of days of such reading, I went to do my chanting in the forest, and then I was walking and I felt some inexplicable happiness. And I was wondering what's happening. Then I realized, oh, somebody needs me for Krishna Katha. And I have some friend with whom I can discuss Krishna Katha. So after some time we had like 4 friends reading. So that's very powerful. So I have friendships in Krishna consciousness. Shri Nrsimhadev Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Okay, and to Krishna, prema. To Krishna we develop prema, we adore Krishna. Any questions here? So in the Bhagavatam, this is repeated many times. These are actually the first 3. What we are practicing is Bhagavad Dharma, and in descriptions of the Bhagavad Dharma, in Canto 11, these are the first Bhagavad Dharmas. Daya, Maitri, Prashaya. So mercy, friendship, and respect to seniors. 4.8.34. This was the first advice Narada Muni gave to Dhruva Maharaj. Gunadikam mudam lipset. He says, if you see someone more qualified, you should be happy. If you see someone less qualified, be merciful. And if you see someone equal, then make friends. So if you practice these three behaviors, natapayar abhibhuyate, you will have no suffering. And we see that this is these are the practices of a Madhyam Bhakta, Madhyam Adhikari. So I don't know if you ever experience any tapa or suffering in life. But this is the recipe given by Narada Muni and given in the Bhagavatam. Practicing these behaviors, practicing these interactions. So somebody less qualified, kripa, mercy, seeing someone equal or accepting someone as equal in devotional service, friendship, happiness for the seniors. And if we practice these behaviors as Madhyam devotees, then the miseries of this world, the threefold miseries, will not touch us. Right. Any questions or comments here? How can you practice friendships with equals? Serving. Give prasad. Give presents. Go swimming. Give presents. Okay. Wrestling. I mean, friendly wrestling, let's say. Make jokes. Yeah, that's a friendly rasa. Okay. But also, remember the 6 loving exchanges? Yes, this is like a very clear example how we can practice. So, sometimes in our courses we do this as a homework, that you plan for every day, plan some acts of mercy or compassion, plan some acts of friendship, and plan some acts of service or respect to those who are more qualified in some way. So that's what makes you an intermediate practitioner. In the Bhagavatam, in 4.11.13, yeah, Prabhupada says, it is the duty of an advanced devotee in a second stage of devotional perfection. That's a fancy way of saying Madhyam Bhakta. It is 4.11.13. It is the duty of an advanced devotee. So if you're Madhyam Bhakta, you're an advanced devotee, but in the second stage of devotional perfection, to act in accordance with this verse. So what's the verse is titikshaya karunaya cha maitriya cha kila jantashu. So this is tolerance. They're called satam vrata, vows of a sadhu or spiritual practitioner. Karunaya, mercy. Maitriya, friendship. It's a famous word. Now the Buddhists have spread this as metta. It's actually Sanskrit maitri. They translate this as loving kindness. Basically, it's friendship, making friends to equals, and basically being friendly to all. And samatvena, being equipoised. So that's more to like those who are not innocent and those who are not equal. So these 4 attitudes, Bhagavan Samprasidati. If you practice these 4, Krishna or the Lord will be happy with you, which sounds like a good deal to me, if Krishna is happy with us. 4.11.13. 4.11.13. And this is the duty of an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection. So you should become an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection. Sounds like a good title. Give the diploma. Okay, you are an advanced devotee in the second stage of devotional perfection. Give you a diploma. So in verse 5, Rupa Goswami says that Drishtai Sabhava Janitair. You should not look at devotees, Bhakta Janasya, materially. You should look at them, seeing all the devotees as those who are moving towards Krishna. And in this translation, Srila Prabhupada speaks mostly about pure devotee. So a pure devotee is someone who is practicing pure devotional service. Somehow we have started using this pure devotion mostly as a designation of a level. You know, who is a pure devotee? You know, how can you be? So in other words, as the level of purity. But pure devotion also means the path. So if you move on the path of pure devotion. So the path of pure devotion is that you have faith in Bhakti. So here in verse 5, Srila Prabhupada gives the verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita defining what is pure Shuddha Bhakti Shraddha, the faith in pure Bhakti. So this is, in my book it's 56, I don't know which number you have. Shraddha Shabde, Vishwas Kohe Sudrida Nishchoy, Krishna Bhakti Koile, Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Firm faith, Shraddha Shabde, Sudrida Nishchoy, conviction, this Nishchaya, conviction that we discussed in verse 3. Firm conviction that by Krishna Bhakti Koile, by performing devotional service, you attain all perfections. By Bhakti, by the blessings of the Lord, everything will come. Krishna will give you blessings, that by blessings of Lord Krishna, obtained through devotional service, everything is achieved. So this faith is called Shuddha Bhakti Shraddha. Such faith is actually the faith in pure devotional service. And this faith makes you a pure devotee, actually. So we discussed yesterday the Bhakti formula, the 5 elements of Bhakti. So of the 5 elements, you remember? Which is the most important? Anukulyana, yes. And 3, we discussed 3, yes. So Anukulyana. Anukulyana means intention to please Krishna. Anybody remember this today? Did you try to somehow put it somewhere into your practice? Okay, nice. Yes, okay, very nice. So, did you get some success? Yes. I remember many years ago, I was listening to a class by Niranjana Maharaj, and it was given to some leaders, temple presidents, meeting of the leaders, and he was saying, okay, so how many years have you been practicing? Have you been practicing for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Now, what have you attained? Are you happy? Are you undisturbed? Do you have taste? Do you have everything? And where is your advancement? What do you have to show for your years of practice? And do you actually feel compassion to all the living entities? And it was, for like 1.5 hours, you feel, smaller, that, I'm practicing and I do not advance as much as I would like to. I do not advance so much. And then, after some time you feel, okay, so what to do? And then at the end he says, okay, that intention, this anukulyana, this mood, the desire to please Krishna is so important. So if there is one point that we can, that it's important to remember from all our studies, it is this. So I usually try to shock devotees here that this is the biggest mistake a devotee can do. this is the biggest mistake a devotee can do, to think that bhakti or devotional service is some activities that please Krishna. It's the biggest mistake a devotee can do, to think that bhakti are activities that please Krishna. That activities, yes, activities that please Krishna is bhakti. This is the biggest mistake a devotee can make. Yes, yes. So this is actually in the commentaries by the acharyas. Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in this verse, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11, when they explain, they say that activities that please, Hiranyakashipu also did. I mean, Nrisimhadev wanted to fight, and Hiranyakashipu offered him some fight. So that activity was pleasing? Yes, activity was pleasing. Kamsa he sent a good chariot to bring Krishna to Mathura. So, I mean, you know, like it's nowadays it would be like sending what do you call, Gulfstream jet, or sending some Ferrari, or what is Mercedes Maybach, this, $500,000 Mercedes, some new, untouched. Akrura, he said, I didn't ride in this chariot yet. It's a completely new chariot. So Akrura was happy. Okay, I'm bringing a completely new chariot to bring Krishna. So, I mean, he sent a good chariot. He brought Krishna to Mathura. Krishna met finally Vasudeva and Devaki. So that was nice. That was pleasing. But was Kamsa a devotee? Was this devotional service? Was Hiranyakashipu's fight devotional service? No. What was missing? The activity was pleasing. What was missing? Yes, this favorable attitude, the desire to make Krishna happy. So this is one thing that can revolutionize our practice. So activity we understand. So this is the first mistake any jiva can make, to not serve Krishna. But when we serve Krishna, then the biggest mistake we can make is to think that just the activity without the intention is enough. So the activity has to be there, but then our practice, our sadhana, our effort is to create this anukulina, this loving attitude, to actually develop the proper intention and favorable attitude, and this desire to make Krishna happy. And this is how we advance. This is the definition of bhakti. Any questions here? Any points? Yes, Advaita Sim.
Anushidana, what is the exact translation?
Systematic practice. Anu means continuous, systematic, or following the acharyas, following the Guru Parampara. Anu, yes. And Shilana means behavior. Behavior. Okay, so let's do some activity that pleases Krishna. Let's get up. So, okay, so now let's raise our hands without any intention. No intention, and just say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, you're too happy, you're all devotional. Okay, now let's also add the intention. Krishna likes, Nrisimhadev likes, Prahlad Maharaj likes, Prabhupada likes when we chant, and we like the fact that they like. We are happy that they are happy. Mahaprabhu is so happy when we chant. So let's make him happy by chanting, and we chant because we want to make his smile bigger. Krishna's smile bigger. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Go sing Nrsimhadev. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes. And let's raise our hands and say, Gauranga! Nityananda! Hare Krishna.
All right. So, thank you. We do the external activity, also mental activity that's there, and we add consciousness of who Krishna is, that Krishna is the source of all beauty, the source is the form of eternity, bliss and knowledge. He's the source of the Bhagavad Gita and the Bhagavatam. And we do this with the attitude. So these are the components of devotional service. So we add them one by one. And then this is the core, these are the three core Svarupa Lakshanas, the main characteristics that make Bhakti Bhakti. And to make Bhakti pure, we have to add the secondary characteristics. Anya Bilashata Shunyam Gyana Karmadyanavritam. So this Anya Bilashata Shunyam, Anya means other, Abhilash means desires, and then interestingly, very interestingly, it says Anya Bilashita. Which makes it more practical, because if the prescription were have no other desires, then it means that you cannot do this from the beginning, because we have other desires. Yes, then it means we need some other process to purify ourselves from all the other desires. So Jiva Goswami says, therefore, it doesn't say Anyabhilasha, Vaishunyam, Hishunyam, that you have to be free from any other desires. It says, because then how can you practice this in the beginning? So therefore it says Anyabhilashita, being free from all the other permanent desires that are different from devotional service. So in the Narada Pancharatra verse, this is presented as Sarva Upadhi, Sarva Upadhi Vinirmuktam, having no other designations. That's the idea, that no other designations, that I am a Brahmana, I am a Shudra, Naham Vipro na Chanarapatir, na api Vaishyo na Shudro, Naham na Chanarap, that's Naham, the second line. This is the verse called Bhuta Shuddhi, purification of our we have it quoted in, for example, 429:46. Okay, Madhya 1380. Naham Varni, okay, Varni, yes. Naham Varni Nachagrihapatir no Vanasto Yatirva. Mahaprabhu says, I'm not a Brahmana, but I'm not a Kshatriya, but I'm not a Vaishya, but I'm not a Shudra. I'm not a Brahmachari, I'm not a Grihasta, I'm not a Vanaprastha, and I'm not a Sannyasi. So basically the whole Varnashrama is covered. So who am I? I mean, this is all the options. Kintu prodyan nikila paramananda purnam ritabdher gopi bhartu padakamalayur dasa dasa anudasa. So I am of this brilliant ocean of intense bliss, who is the beloved Lord of the gopis, of his lotus feet, of the servants I am a servant. Right? So I'm a servant of a servant of a servant, dasa dasa no dasa, gopi bhartu, of the Lord of the gopis, who is the ocean of bliss, shining ocean of bliss. Of him I'm a servant of a servant of a servant. So it removes the material designations and gives you the spiritual identity. So this is the idea, this anyabilashita shunyam, that I have no other goals. Doesn't mean we neglect these. I mean, we want to behave as a nice, civilized person. That's there. But this is not our main eternal identity. Madhya 1380. Madhya 1380. Also in the Bhagavatam it's there, quoted. Pujaris may know it. This is our Gaudiya Vaishnava Bhuta Shuddhi, purification before going on the altar. There is some Vedic purification. I'm not the earth, I'm not the water, I'm not the air. You sort of see yourself as different from the material world. But we use Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's this Bhuta Shuddhi purification. Okay, so therefore, how we translate, how I sometimes translate this, that you have Anyabilashta Shunyam, only one goal or no other goals other than Krishna Bhakti. So no other goals, permanent goals, but Krishna Bhakti. So this is the idea, Anyabilashata Shunyam.
Goals?
Meaning we can have intermediate goals, like, okay, in the next 3 weeks we collect 4 million euros to build a golden dome for, do we need a golden dome? Yeah, to build a golden dome here for Nrsimhadev. So like, for the next month, some intermediate goal. But this is not an eternal goal. Eternally, we want to serve the Lord in general, whether with a golden dome or with a diamond dome or with a ruby dome, doesn't matter which dome, or even no dome, still we serve.
Prabhu, I don't understand the difference between Svarupa Lakshan and Tatachan Lakshan, and why in this verse the Anya Vilashita are the Svarupa Lakshan.
That's not Svarupa, this is Tatastha. This is secondary. Svarupa means primary. This is the main. Like
so
this.
The Svarupa is only Anyukirina?
So these three are Svarupa. Anukulyana, Krishna, Anushilana. These three are the Svarupa, meaning that this is the essence. And this is what makes it pure. So this is to get bhakti, and then this is the primary Svarupa. That's what bhakti is. And then to make this bhakti, not just bhakti, but pure, then these Anyabilashata Shunyam and Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam makes it pure. So that's, like you have a car, and it can be dirty or clean. So you have a car, and then you make it clean. So sometimes this is oftentimes what we feel is you hear, you must do pure devotional service. You can't desire anything else. You shouldn't have any material desires. So it's, yes, okay, it's philosophically very inspiring, but practically you feel, it sounds like, only cold showers, no food. Something like this, right? Or maybe like only some, unboiled chickpeas. Yes, only soaked, like pure, it sounds like, just some have to be tapasya, tapasya, tapasya. But that's not the idea. It's okay for those who like it, for whom it's natural. Like the Goswamis, they were sleeping under a different tree. But first we need to establish that this is loving service to Krishna, this positive ecstatic service, and then in which situation you do it, either super austere or in an opulent way. That's the main thing, that you do not identify as the as the enjoyer or the sufferer, that you identify as the servant of Krishna. We have the story of Gadadhar Pandit, who saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and he thought that he's just enjoying. But then he spoke the verse from the Bhagavatam, and he saw that Pundarik Vidyanidhi doesn't care for any material things. He loves Krishna, right? So that was his main identity. Okay, more points on. So this is Anabhilasha Shunyam, no other goals. And this one, the other one, it's slightly more tricky. This is Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. So this is Jnana Karmadi Anavritam, not covered by Jnana, Karma and other processes. It took me actually a lot of, I was even actually teaching Bhakti Sastri and studying the commentaries, and it took me quite a few years before I actually saw the difference between this and this. What's the point here? So then finally I could understand that this is the goal and this is the process. That we trust that by bhakti you achieve everything, right? That I understand that by bhakti I will be purified, by bhakti all success will be attained, and also bhakti includes all the other processes. It doesn't say that jnana karmadi shunyam, that there is no jnana, no karma. We have a lot of jnana, we have a lot of karma in devotional service. We have everything. We have yoga, we have perfections, we have everything in devotional service, but it's not covering devotional service. Our trust is that devotional service, Prabhupada says, it's not narrow, it includes everything, and that by bhakti we achieve everything, as we have read in this verse. So no other method or process. So these are processes. But Krishna Bhakti. So Krishna Bhakti as the goal, and Krishna Bhakti as the process. This is what makes Bhakti pure. So I may be impure. I may be full of desires. But if I accept that I want to serve Krishna eternally, I actually am a devotee of Krishna, eternal, das, anudas. And I trust that by bhakti everything will be achieved. I will never give up bhakti, Krishna Bhakti. If I accept these two, then I am practicing pure devotional service. So who can agree that your main eternal goal is Krishna Bhakti in eternity? Krishna Bhakti. Can you agree that Krishna Bhakti in Vaikuntha, in Goloka, that this is your goal? You're having doubts? Okay, this is one. Now, the second one. Who can agree that Krishna Bhakti is the perfect process? That by Krishna Bhakti all success will come? That everything you need, everything you may ever desire will also be coming by Krishna's blessings. Okay, congratulations. Everybody who raised your hands 2 times, you are pure devotees. Yes, you are pure devotees. Yes, Hare Krishna. You can give a certificate. Let's from Rupa Goswami. So again, maybe we are not pure 100% in the sense of our level, but our practice is, our path is pure devotion. Ananya Bhakti also is called, meaning no other process. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes.
Verse 55 in the 11th chapter also says Sangha Varjitaha,
Mm-hmm.
and this also is translated as free of jnana and karma.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So what is the connection? Sangha Varjitaha? Sangha means like no relationship with those two processes, or?
Sangha means association, and Sangha means attachment. You know, that I'm attached. And oftentimes we are attached to. I don't know if I should say this, but I should probably say this. That when they told me to teach Bhakti Sastri, actually, yeah, I studied the Gita under Purnachandra Maharaj, and in 93, and in Kaunas, Lithuania. It was such a, Bhakti Sastri was very rare those days. Every year was looking at the announcement, come to Vrindavan, study Bhakti Sastri. Going for 4 months, it sounded like impossible to go to India. And then my temple president, Vaishampayana, he came and he said, Adi Purush, can I ask you, can you go to the nearby Kaunas town to the temple and translate the Bhakti Shastri course by Purnachandra? He was Prabhu then. And it was like, wow, it's exactly what I was dreaming about. This is perfect. And my temple president is coming and he's asking me to do this. Not I go to him, ask him. He comes to me, asks me. He's asking me to do this. Wow, okay, thank you, Krishna. It's excellent. So in Purnachandra Maharaj, in 3 days, he taught 6 chapters of the Gita. Wow. We were studying from 6 in the morning till 8 in the night, the full day. It was, like a Bhakti Shastri marathon. Like, whew, we were studying. And it was really nectarian. And he was describing these, different types of practice. Nishkama karma yoga in bhakti, sakama karma, different levels explained by the acharyas, by Burijan Prabhu. And I finally could realize what karma yoga is. Giving up fruits, not work, but fruits. And then what jnana yoga is. How you can give up activities also, but Krishna does not recommend to give up activities, work. Do the work, but not claim the fruits. And you can enjoy the fruits, but you should not be attached to enjoying the fruits. Anyway, all these subtle things. So I was so ecstatic, so inspired. That was the only thing I could talk about for several years. So then, when they asked me to teach Bhakti Shastri, I said, I'm sorry, I think that we should practice mixed bhakti. It seems more practical, because it's clear, give up the fruits. Do karma yoga in Krishna consciousness.
You thought that Kama Mishra Bhakti is better, or?
Yes. It's practical.
It's more realistic.
Realistic, yeah. Do it now, why not?
You're doing Kama Mishra Bhakti anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So before you said we should give devotion.
That's the official line. That's the party line, right? But it's impossible. How can you do pure bhakti? I'm not pure. So I thought pure bhakti is impossible. So do karma mishra bhakti. What do we do from karma yoga? Giving up fruits. Enjoying, actually attachment, giving up the plan to enjoy the fruits, or attachment to enjoy the fruits.
Maybe this Mishra Bhakti is not pleasing.
No, it's already... Actually, this type of Mishra Bhakti is okay, it's honest. So in other words, in this, the goal is still Krishna Bhakti. So therefore, it's not that mixed Bhakti which we condemn and criticize as hypocritical, right? Because it's honest, I want to go to Krishna. It's just that I think that I need some jnana, karma and something to advance. Right? And all my seniors said, okay, that's okay. You can speak like this, no problem. So like several senior devotees, they don't, that's all right, yes, it's just go ahead, do it. And it took me like, many years of starting to realize, no, pure bhakti is also possible. I don't have to go naked and take only cold showers. I mean, you can, but that's not the requirement to do pure bhakti. Pure bhakti is just adding trust into the process. Even I don't need to change my activities. Prabhupada says, be an engineer for Krishna. Nrisimhadev tells Prahlad Maharaj, be a king for me. Get married, be a king. Rule the universe for me. And do you doubt that Prahlad is a pure devotee? Are you sure Prahlad is a pure devotee? Maybe he's a Karma Mishra Bhakta. What do you think? Be careful. He's a pure devotee. So Prabhupada says, be an engineer for Krishna. In here, he says, bhakti is not narrow. It doesn't mean to make your activities narrow. He says, we are using this microphone or we are using this dictaphone. It's material, but we are using for pure devotional service, for Krishna. Well, I have a risky thought. Maybe I should say it. Prabhupada says we can use even missiles for Krishna. Missiles, rockets for Krishna. I was always thinking that's very extreme. Rakete. How do you use missiles and rockets for Krishna? Now I understand, to protect the Ukrainian temples from the, war crimes and from these crimes against humanity, this crazy army attacking, invading our temples and trying to stop everything. So now Germany promised, okay, we will give 2 rockets to Ukraine to hold the border. So yes, it will protect the temples. It will protect Radha Madhava in Kiev. Oh, sorry, it's a little extreme but Prabhupada says we can use everything. The idea is that we can use everything for Krishna. So usually he gives the example of a microphone, and if he speaks the lecture, he says, like this microphone, it's made of earth, water, and whatever. And then if he's translating a book, he says, like, we are using this dictaphone. Like this dictaphone is made of earth, water, and these elements. Yes. So, and he says, it's material, but we use it for Krishna. So bhakti is not narrow. And pure bhakti is not narrow. As long, it's not narrow. So as long as it doesn't cover, we understand that so in other words, it's a nice and subtle distinction. Like in karma yoga, I think that how do I advance? By taking my desire to enjoy the fruits. I hope there are fruits for breakfast. Are there fruits for breakfast? A little bit, okay. So I think, okay. Erdbeeren, okay. Strawberries. Offered already, right? Yeah. We can talk about them. Yeah. So, okay. So I can think, let me give a good class. And then I will enjoy the strawberries. That's karma kanda. Then I think, no, I want to advance spiritually. So let me give a good class, and there will be nice fruits, but I'm not attached. It's okay. You can give or not give. If you give, that's nice. If you don't give, also nice. Yes. So, I mean, not attached to enjoying the fruits, right? So that's, and then how do I advance? By finding this desire. Fruits. That's okay. You give or not give, I serve you anyway. So that's giving up the desire for fruits, right? And by this, finding this, usually it creates such a interesting, it's like, ding. That's, this is the act of renunciation. A little painful, slightly, like, ding. And okay, this is for you, Krishna. Yes? It's a psychological or internal act of nishkama karma, or giving up our attachment to fruits. And this works. It's the first act of yoga. Bhakti includes karma yoga, jnana yoga, yoga, dhyana, meditation. But so if I think that's how I advance, this will be karma mishra bhakti, which is very nice. There are different mishras. It's honest. It's pradhanya bhakti. It's bhakti primary, bhakti on the first spot. I want to go to Krishna. Whereas in bhakti, it's almost the same, but psychologically or internally, what happens is that I think I advance not by this ding, like I still do this, but I understand I do this to make you pleased, and I advance not by renouncing, but by this desire to make you happy. This is primary. I still do the same. Ding, the fruits, okay, Krishna, give or not give, it's yours. But my faith is not in giving up. My faith is in Krishna, please be happy. Very small difference, like the shift of emphasis. Here the emphasis is on giving up, and here emphasis is Krishna, please be happy. Act is the same, activity is the same. Externally it looks exactly the same, but internally, slight shift of emphasis. And by this, you're shifting from karma mishra to Shuddha Bhakti. And then your advancement is 100 times more intense. That's our process. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, 1, 2, 3 questions. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so I just have a little so we can apply this also in pure bhakti to the fact of being detached from the result. But like you said, like we should always like internally pray that will be for the pleasure, especially of Krishna, especially of the devotees. But often it comes that you pray, yes, I want to do it for their pleasure, but they're not pleased. It can happen that either Krishna or the service is not done properly, but you were genuinely trying to please. So can we also like actually serve Krishna and be detached by this, or this is no, like we should be attached for this so we can improve, or
so
to the result, like when we try to please and it doesn't go as it's not pleasing maybe for Krishna or for the devotees, but our intentions were.
Krishna is super magnanimous, velikodushny. He's super magnanimous. So Prahlad Maharaj, he tells his classmates, do bhakti, please the Lord. And then the classmates say, how can we please the Lord? He has everything. What can I give to the Lord? He's the Lord. I mean, his wife is Lakshmi. She's the goddess of fortune. I mean, all good fortune, everything is his already. What can I give him? Right? So this is the purport where Prahlad Maharaj says, what you do, this you offer. You anyway are working super hard. It's not harder. You don't have to work harder. You have to offer this. This is the purport where Prabhupada says that to go to hell takes hard work. Right? To go to hell, you have to work really hard to go to hell, right? So this is where Prahlad Maharaj says, just offer this, do this, see how it's connected to Krishna and offer this to Krishna. And in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he gives a very beautiful comment. He says, Krishna is so magnanimous, he's so nice, that as soon as you decide, I want to make Krishna happy. You know, this anukulyena. You just want to make Krishna happy. He's already happy. It's a very good deal. Take it. Again, doesn't mean we should be lazy, certainly, but that's the beauty of Krishna's heart. That, you know, again, as you know, I gave this example of the calf licking me. You know, the activity is not really so much enjoyable, maybe. Have you been licked by cows? Yesterday we saw some cows, huge, you know. But the intention is there. And you feel, yes, Hare Krishna. Right? So the intention is very important, this loving intention. Like you know, as a child, the child will make a picture. Mommy, mommy, this is a picture for you. Oh, yes, what is this? This is a cactus? No, mommy, this is you. Ah. And she keeps this picture for 20 years, you know. Why? Intention. The intention was there.
But should we still learn the detachment from the result also in this like bhakti?
Yeah, yes. Again, it's just the attachment. Even the results you use oftentimes. Just this strong attachment. We have to say, Krishna for you. Okay. All right. So, Advaita Simha,
So, if you have the strawberries and I want to renounce them, bing.
Yes.
But then, if I really want to give it to Krishna, should it be can it be artificially? Because you know, it's for you, Krishna. You know, I give it out of so-called love, bhakti, or should it be really like the feeling behind it, like Krishna, I want to please you, or can we fake the intention to come to the point to, you know?
Yeah, intention is very subtle. It's possible even for animals, but to find it takes, you know, this is why bhakti is very simple but subtle, very subtle. So this is what we are looking for.
It's more in the head, an understanding, you know.
So this is why we put it in a simple way, intention to please. And it can begin just with words. But the process is to find that soft spot, sweet spot in the heart, which is difficult. Sometimes, you know, I search, and I find it, like when I heard that class by Niranjan Swami, then I started chanting, okay, Krishna for you. Hare Krishna, okay, for you, Krishna, Krishna. And then, oh, for 1 second I could, you know, find this spot. Oh yes, Krishna for you. And then, wow, the holy name is so amazing. And yes, my chanting is so good. I really got it. I should go tell people how to, yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare. And it's gone. You know, like, you know, split second I found it and finished. Doesn't mean I mean, again, I have to find and keep it. Again, I try to do this. So this is this internal, that's why it's internal. This yoga is done in the heart. And outside, I don't know, you know, did you not find this maybe it's hard to say. Sometimes you will smile. Usually I ask, you smile. But sometimes you will be like, I found it, I could do this only for half an hour. But, you know, during my japa. But for most of us, half an hour, you know, I'm lucky if I, you know, do half a second. But you are sad that, only for half an hour I could chant nicely. So whether you smile or whether you're sad, it's in your heart, whether you offer this to Krishna. So yeah, we search in our heart and try to find this intent. We begin with words, but actually it's a mood of anukulyena. Attitude. Okay, attitude. Prabhupada says this is the attitude. Okay, all right. Okay. Chittahari.
So my question is the other part. You gave the example with the strawberries, and then first you think, I give it to you. So on this point, the question is later, if one is very progressed, Uttama Adhikari, this isn't even the difficulty, then even this is
easy.
This is my question.
Happily. It's in the beginning. We have to, first we give the fruits, then we can dedicate the activity, and then we just love Krishna. We like to do everything in love with him. We don't even notice. In love. Yes. Going to the Prabhu.
There's the saying, the mind is willing, or you could say the heart is willing. You know, we really Krishna, we feel it, but then the flesh is weak.
Yes.
So this is like sometimes the situation we find ourselves that we truly have the emotion and conviction, but somehow the senses are stronger, the mind is, carried away by the senses. And
yes, take the strawberry, Krishna, this is for you, for you, for you. Ah, no. Sorry. Yes.
But my question, this connection would be, because you said more or less like if the intention is there, at least if internally you have understood it, then technically you are on the path of pure devotion.
Yes.
Even the senses might cheat you and might,
Yes.
you may not always manage to live up
Yes.
to your ideal or
Yes.
to the ideal within your heart because the senses externally predominate somehow.
Yes. Please, let's not make it into, how to say, another quarrel that you are a pure devotee, you're not a pure devotee. No, we should say we are pure devotees. It's okay, but if you look at 930, Apichat Suduracharo, in the next verse, Prabhupada says that he mentions a pure devotee. So one can actually be very fallen and still be on the path of pure devotion. In this verse, Apichat Suduracharo, Bhajatemam Ananya Bhak. So Ananya is there, no other method. And Samyak Vyavasito, and he's perfectly situated. So he may be actually fallen in many ways, but the goal is bhakti and the method is bhakti. So Prabhupada says we should respect this choice of pure bhakti. We should not be like this, obviously. So that's why, it's hidden in the middle, could be exploited, right? So we are a little careful about saying this, too openly. Right? Because we see Prabhupada speaks about the Prakrita Sahajiyas who try to exploit this point. We should not exploit it to justify our impurities. But yes, you are still on the path of pure bhakti, and you should be respected for that. I mean, not you, but a man is on one is on the path of pure bhakti. And also, I was just listening again to Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Bhakti Aloka, and he's quoting the very nice verse from the 11th canto, Tato bhajeta mam prita. One should keep worshipping me with... it's exactly the same point that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting. This is 11:20-28. Jata Shradha Mat Kathasu, having awakened faith, so that's, Shradha, in the narrations of my glories, being disgusted with all material activities. So again, accepting that not karma is the process for being happy, but still being unable to renounce all sense enjoyment, my devotee should remain happy and worship me with great faith and conviction, even though he's sometimes engaged in sense enjoyment. Oh, strawberries, and eat, or whatever, right? Krishna says, do not become depressed. You should happily worship me. Tato bhajeta mam prita. You should happily worship me because you're on the proper path. You're doing the proper practice, and then you will advance. So I was struck how the translation is: my devotee should remain happy, right, and continue on this path. We should make the proper effort. We should work on our heart. We should find the taste and devotion, and with faith, and this is done on different levels. In Hari Bhakti Sudadaya, Narada Muni says that most people are greedy. They just want money and wealth and enjoy. And then he says some people, he says even the monks and renunciates, they like to collect things. But then he says some are detached and they do not collect. But then they want to be famous for being renounced. Did you see how renounced I am? Did you see the 2 holes in my body? Then he says some do not want to be famous. They do not actively seek glory, but when somebody says, "Oh, such and such is very detached. He's very renounced," inside they are happy. So these attachments are subtler and subtler and subtler. The most subtle is pratishta, desire for position and glory, and this is still there in the heart. The person may be I can be externally renounced, but inside I'm still searching for establishing my super special position for my glory. So it's all very difficult to overcome. Narada Muni says it's really it can stay really deep and really long. But a devotee, this is why Krishna says, Yetu dharmamritamidam yatoktam paripasate sradadanamat parama bhaktaste tiva me priya 12:20. He describes the 32 qualities of a devotee who is very dear to him. But then he says, even a devotee who has no qualities like this, but who wants to pursue the path of pure devotion, he is more dear to me than someone who is perfect on another path and has all the good qualities. Because somebody can be, frozen into an glacier, Ludovic, in the Himalayas, sitting on snow with 3-meter long mustache, frozen into ice, and someone can be Bhakta Joe who can't even, every time he serves dal, he puts it on your dhoti. Because still so uncoordinated. But Krishna says that this Bhakta Joy is more dear to me. Why? Because this yogi who is so wonderful, he still thinks somewhere, I'm God, I'm great. Right? And this Bhakta Joy, he accepted, okay, I'm not God. It's okay. Don't count me among that I am God. Don't say I'm God. I am a servant. So that's more glorious. He's given up this false ego, which is actually more difficult. More difficult to give up. So Krishna says that if you accept this path, you don't have all these good qualities, but you are super dear. You're not dear, you're very, very dear to me. So accepting the goal of bhakti and accepting the path or method of bhakti. So when we see this in others, in devotees, so this is, we make friends, we try to ourselves be fixed, we try to cultivate friendships in Krishna consciousness. So we share Krishna consciousness and we ask for Krishna consciousness. So I'm so happy to have friends in Krishna consciousness. I call them and I talk about some material things, this, that, war, money, this. And they said, yeah, this, that. And then they say, I read yesterday in the Bhagavatam. What do you think about this? Prabhupada says like this, like this. And they very naturally, not artificially, very naturally, they still move it to Krishna consciousness. And after 5 minutes, I end up speaking about Krishna. So that's, the best good fortune. To, that we can be friends, we can be practical, but speak about Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The nectar of the holy name, Ki Jai. Seeing devotees as devotees, Ki Jai. Moving on the quest for our treasure of prema, Ki Jai. Nidago Pramanande.
Hari Purusa Prabhu Ki Jai.